The antiseptic smell of hospital corridors had become all too familiar over the past 6 months. I walked through Riverside Medical Center's pristine halls, nodding to staff who had no idea I'd just signed the papers, making me their new board director. To them, I was just Doctor, Sarah Chen's little sister, the unsuccessful one who'd supposedly never matched her sister's achievements. I'm Emily Chen, 35, and unlike my sister, who flaunts her position as nursing director at every opportunity, I've kept my success carefully hidden. While Sarah posts about her healthcare leadership journey and gives speeches about climbing the medical ladder, I've spent the last decade building Chentech Medical Solutions, a healthcare technology company now worth over $2 billion. She thinks I'm just a small-time medical software consultant who got lucky with a few contracts. She has no idea that my company provides the operating systems for half the hospitals in the country. The day everything changed started with a text from Sarah. Need to discuss mom's bills. Come to my office. Now I found her in her immaculate office, its walls covered with certifications and awards. She barely looked up from her computer as I entered. Finally, she said, clicking her mouse dramatically, "Do you have any idea how much mom's special treatment is costing?" I did, actually. I've been anonymously covering all of mom's expenses through a private foundation I'd set up, but Sarah didn't need to know that. "How much?" I asked quietly. $22,000. She spun her monitor around, revealing a spreadsheet of medical expenses. Insurance won't cover the experimental treatment, and as nursing director, I can't show favoritism by pulling strings. I studied the numbers, noting how she conveniently rounded up several charges. "I thought the hospital had a patient assistance program." "Please," she scoffed. "Those are for people who really need help. Mom has 2 daughters who can pay. Well, 1 daughter and whatever you are." The dismissive wave of her hand made my blood boil, but I kept my expression neutral. "I thought your director's salary would cover it." "I have responsibilities, Emily, professional obligations. I can't drain my resources on this." She straightened her designer blazer. "Besides, you're the one who insisted on this experimental treatment. Actually, Mom's oncologist had recommended it, but Sarah had been too busy with her leadership duties to attend that meeting." "Fine," I said, pulling out my phone. "I'll transfer the money now." Sarah's perfectly shaped eyebrows rose. "You have that kind of money. I've been saving." She watched as I made the transfer, then immediately forwarded the confirmation to her personal email. "I'll need you to sign some papers acknowledging this arrangement for liability purposes." Of course. Sarah never missed a chance to document her generosity while protecting herself. As I left her office, I noticed something interesting. A memo on her desk about upcoming board changes at Riverside Medical Center. The hospital was struggling financially, and rumor had it they were looking for new leadership and investors. Later that day, while Sarah was posting on LinkedIn about making tough decisions in healthcare leadership, complete with a staged photo of her looking pensively out her office window, I made a call to my CFO. "Marcus, remember that healthcare acquisition we were considering? I found something better. Get me everything you can on Riverside Medical Center." The next 2 weeks were intense. The hospital was indeed in financial trouble, despite its prestigious reputation. Years of mismanagement and outdated systems had left them vulnerable. "They need at least $10 million in immediate investment," Marcus reported, spreading documents across my desk, plus another $15 million for modernization. "Current board members are looking to step down. What about current management? All positions would be subject to review under new leadership," he paused, "including your sisters." I thought about Sarah's smug face as she demanded that money, set up a meeting with the board. "And Marcus? Use our subsidiary name. I don't want anyone knowing Chentech is involved." The board meeting was scheduled for the following week. I sat quietly in the back as Marcus presented our proposal. $30 million investment, full modernization, and a complete overhaul of management systems. "This is extremely generous," the current board chairman said, studying the papers. "But who exactly is behind Chen Healthcare Solutions?" I stood up. "I am." Several board members recognized me from my hospital visits. Miss Chen, Sarah Chen's sister. Actually, it's Dr. Chen, PhD in medical informatics. And yes, Sarah is my sister, though she's unaware of my professional success. The chairman leaned forward. Your sister serves as our nursing director. This could be seen as a conflict of interest. Only if I let personal feelings influence business decisions, I replied calmly. I assure you, every decision will be based on merit and performance alone. 3 days later, I signed the papers, making me the new board director of Riverside Medical Center. The first change I implemented was upgrading their entire operating system to Chentex at no additional cost. Sarah, predictably, complained about having to learn a new system. This is completely unnecessary, she announced at the staff meeting. Our old system worked fine. The new hospital administrator, handpicked by me but unknown to Sarah, remained professional. The decision comes from the board, Miss Chen. All departments will complete the transition by month's end. Fine. Set up a meeting with the board. I'll explain why this is a waste of resources. I'll see what I can do. That afternoon, Sarah stormed into my office at the hospital's outpatient clinic, where I supposedly worked as a software consultant. I need you to sign more papers for Mom's care, she demanded, dropping a folder on my desk. More expenses. The new system is causing delays. We need to move her to a private room to ensure proper care. She tapped the total amount. Another $15,000. I studied the paperwork carefully. These charges seem unusual. Are you questioning my medical expertise? No, I'm questioning these numbers. I opened my laptop, pulling up the hospital's actual billing system, which as board director, I had full access to. Because according to this, Mom's private room is already paid for by the Chen Family Foundation. Sarah froze. What are you talking about? What foundation? The one I established 6 months ago. I turned my laptop around, showing her the foundation's details. We've been providing anonymous support for several patients, including Mom. The color drained from her face as she read the foundation's board member list, with my name at the top. This is impossible. You're just a consultant. Actually, I'm the CEO of Chentech Medical Solutions. We provide operating systems to over 2,000 hospitals nationwide. I paused, enjoying her shocked expression. Oh, and as of last week, I'm also Riverside Medical Center's new board director. Sarah collapsed into a chair, her perfectly maintained composure cracking. You're my boss. Technically, yes, which means I know exactly how much Mom's care actually costs, and how much you've been inflating the numbers. I can explain. Save it. I pulled out a different folder. Inside this is a choice. Option 1. Resign as nursing director and take a regular nursing position, the job you're actually qualified for. Option 2. Face an audit of all your financial dealings as director. Her hands trembled as she opened the folder. You would do this to your own sister, like you did to me, demanding money you knew I didn't owe, treating me like I was beneath you. I leaned forward. The difference is, I'm giving you a choice, a chance to remember why you became a nurse in the first place, to help people not build your personal brand. Tears smudged her perfect makeup. What about Mom? Does she know? About the foundation? Yes. About your creative accounting? No, that's between us, depending on which option you choose. As Sarah stared at the papers, her phone buzzed with another LinkedIn notification. But for once, she didn't reach for it. I need time to think, she whispered. Take the weekend. But Sarah, I waited until she met my eyes. Monday morning, you either go back to being the dedicated nurse you used to be, or you find another hospital to build your empire in. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about getting even. It's about forcing someone to face who they've become and giving them a chance to remember who they were meant to be. Monday morning arrived with an unexpected sight. Sarah was at the nurse's station, wearing standard scrubs instead of her usual designer business attire. Her luxury handbag had been replaced by a practical medical tote, and for the first time in years, she was actually checking patient charts herself, instead of delegating everything to junior staff. I choose option 1, she said quietly when she saw me. You're right. I forgot why I became a nurse. I nodded, trying to hide my surprise at her humility. Your new assignment starts today, third floor, oncology ward. Mom's floor, she realized. Consider it motivation to remember your priorities. The transition wasn't easy. Sarah struggled to adjust to taking orders instead of giving them. Her social media presence, once filled with leadership insights and carefully staged photos, went conspicuously quiet. Did you hear? One of the board members whispered during our weekly meeting. Sarah Chin stepped down, claimed she wants to focus on patient care. But for her, I replied neutrally, though I couldn't help but notice the improved staff morale since her departure from management. The real test came 2 weeks later. Mom's experimental treatment was showing promising results, but she developed complications that required round-the-clock care. Sarah was assigned as one of her primary nurses. I can't do this. She burst into my office, eyes red. I can't watch Mom suffer while pretending I'm just another nurse. You're not pretending, I corrected her. You are a nurse. That's what Mom needs right now. Not a director, not an influencer, but a daughter who remembers how to care. Something shifted in her expression. That night, I watched through the security cameras as Sarah sat with Mom for hours, carefully monitoring her vitals, adjusting her medication, and simply holding her hand. Things she hadn't done for any patient in years. A week later, Mom's condition stabilized. During my regular visit, she seemed stronger than she had in months. Sarah's been wonderful, Mom said, squeezing my hand. It's like having my old daughter back. The daughter who used to bring you homemade soup during night shifts. I smiled, remembering Sarah's early nursing days. Exactly. Though Mom's eyes twinkled. I suspect I have you to thank for that? I froze. What do you mean? Emily, I may be sick, but I'm not blind. The new equipment, the foundation's support, Sarah's sudden career change. You've been busy, haven't you? Before I could respond, Sarah walked in for her shift check. She stopped short when she saw us both. Don't let me interrupt, she said, turning to leave. Stay, Mom insisted. I think it's time we all talked honestly. Sarah hesitated, then sat down, still in her practical scrubs. Mom, I need to tell you something. Those bills I made Emily pay were inflated, Mom finished. I know I may have been on medication, but I can still read a hospital bill. Sarah's face crumpled. I'm so sorry. I got so caught up in being Director Chen that I forgot how to be Sarah, or a sister, or a daughter. The question is, Mom said gently, what are you going to do about it? Sarah reached into her pocket and pulled out a check. First, I'm paying Emily back. Every cent, plus interest. She handed it to me. Second, I'm enrolling in advanced oncology nursing courses. If I'm going to care for patients like Mom, I want to do it right. I looked at the check, then at my sister. Keep it. What? Use it for your courses instead. Consider it an investment in the nurse you're becoming again. For the first time in years, Sarah's smile was genuine, not the practice one she used for photos. There's just one condition, I added. What's that? No more social media posts about your journey back to authentic nursing, or whatever inspiration porn you're planning. She actually laughed. Deal. Though I did update my LinkedIn to remove director from my title. Just Nurse Chen now. That's my girls, Mom said softly, both successful in their own ways. As I left the hospital that evening, I saw Sarah in Mom's room, carefully checking equipment she would have delegated just weeks ago. Her phone lay untouched in her pocket, no cameras capturing the moment. Sometimes the best investment isn't in hospitals or software, it's in people finding their way back to who they truly are. 3 months into Sarah's demotion, the changes in both the hospital and my sister were remarkable. The oncology ward, once known for its efficient but impersonal care under her management, had transformed into a unit where patients actually knew their nurses' names. I watched from my boardroom as Sarah conducted her rounds, spending real time with each patient, remembering their stories, their families, their fears. Her designer wardrobe gathered dust while her scrubs showed genuine signs of work, evidence of a nurse who wasn't afraid to get her hands dirty anymore. The patient satisfaction scores in oncology have increased 40%. Marcus reported during our monthly review, and staff turnover has dropped significantly. Any correlation with a certain former director's return to nursing? I asked, though I already knew the answer. Actually, yes. Several staff members have cited improved mentorship and better team dynamics. Apparently, Nurse Chen is quite good at teaching when she's not trying to build her personal brand. The irony wasn't lost on me. Sarah had spent years cultivating an image as a healthcare leader, only to find real leadership once she stopped trying to be one. The real breakthrough came during a critical night shift. A patient similar to Mom's case crashed unexpectedly. Sarah was the first to respond, implementing a complex treatment protocol she'd learned in her recent oncology certification course. She saved that patient's life, the attending physician told me later. The old director Chen would have been too busy documenting a crisis for her next presentation. Nurse Chen actually solved it. When I found Sarah after her shift, she was exhausted but glowing with a different kind of pride than I'd seen before. I remembered, she said simply, all the things I used to know before I got caught up in titles and promotions. It just came back. Like riding a bike. Like remembering who I am. Our conversation was interrupted by an emergency board meeting call. The hospital's latest financial reports had arrived, showing a complete turnaround since my takeover. The Chen Family Foundation's contributions have transformed our capacity for care, the chairman announced. But more importantly, our internal metrics show significant improvements in actual patient outcomes. Sarah, who still didn't know I was about to reveal my role on the board, was called to present the oncology ward's results. She entered the boardroom in her scrubs, looking nervous but prepared. Oh, she stopped short upon seeing me there. I didn't know you'd be. Please continue, Nurse Chen, I said formally, hiding a smile. Her presentation was different from her old leadership talks. No flashy slides, no carefully curated images, just honest data and real patient stories, including her recent save during the night shift. In conclusion, she finished, our focus on direct patient care and continued education has significantly improved our effectiveness as a unit. Thank you, Nurse Chen, the chairman said. The board is particularly impressed with your transition from director to frontline care. In fact, we'd like to offer you a new position. Sarah, tense. I'm not interested in management roles anymore. Actually, I cut in. We're creating a new role. Clinical education specialist, teaching other nurses while maintaining your own patient care duties. No administrative paperwork, no social media requirements, just sharing your knowledge with those who want to learn. She stared at me. You're on the board. She's the board, the chairman corrected. Dr. Emily Chen is our new director and the founder of the Chen Family Foundation. Sarah sat down hard in the nearest chair. All this time, the foundation, the new systems, Mom's care. Was me? I confirmed. Though I have to say, watching you remember how to be a real nurse has been worth every penny invested. Why didn't you tell me? Would you have listened? The old director Chen. She shook her head slowly. No, I needed to fall to remember how to really rise. She looked up at me. The education role, I can keep my patients, including Mom, though you'll need to share your knowledge with others now. Think you can do that without starting a Lincoln series about it? For the first time, Sarah laughed at herself. My last post was 3 months ago. Breaking news. Social media influence doesn't actually save lives. Real nursing does. The board approved her new role unanimously. As we left the meeting, Sarah stopped me in the hallway. Emily, thank you. Not for the job before, for making me see what I'd become and giving me a chance to fix it. That's what sisters do, I replied, even when one of them is being a corporate climbing pain in the ass. Speaking of sisters, she hesitated. Would you like to get coffee? Actually talk? No phones allowed. I checked my watch. Mom's next treatment is in an hour. Why don't we have coffee in her room? I hear Nurse Chen gives excellent patient care these days. Sarah smiled, a real smile, not her old camera-ready one. I learned from the best. Turns out my little sister is quite the healthcare expert. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. Sometimes it's watching someone find their way back to who they were always meant to be. And sometimes it takes a board director in disguise to help a lost nurse find her way home. 1 year later, the annual Riverside Medical Center staff recognition ceremony was different this year. Instead of the formal, photo op focused event Sarah used to organize, it was a genuine celebration of healthcare workers making a difference. I watched from the back as Sarah took the stage, still in her scrubs, to present the Clinical Excellence Awards. Her old designer suits hung untouched in her closet these days, replaced by comfortable nursing shoes and a stethoscope that showed actual wear. A year ago, she began. I thought success in healthcare meant titles in corner offices. I was wrong. Real success is measured in the lives we touch, the care we provide, and the knowledge we share. Mom sat beside me, now in remission, beaming at her transformed daughter. Her recovery had become a case study in the hospital's new patient care approach, one that prioritized both medical excellence and genuine human connection. "Did you see her new ID badge?" Mom whispered to me. She asked them to remove all of her previous titles. It just says, Sarah Chen, on clinical educator. I smiled, remembering how Sarah used to have business cards listing every certification and award she ever received. After the ceremony, we gathered in the oncology ward's break room, where Sarah had organized a small celebration for her nursing team. The same nurses who once feared her now sought her guidance, not for career advancement, but for genuine patient care insights. Ms. Chen, a young nurse, approached me. "Your sister's teaching program has changed how we work. She actually shows us how to connect with patients, not just manage their charts." "That's high praise," I replied, watching Sarah demonstrate a complex care technique to a group of new nurses. Though we did have to talk her out of starting a YouTube channel about it. The nurse laughed. She said something about her sister banning social media healthcare influencing. Later, Sarah joined Mom and me carrying 3 cups of coffee, something old Director Chen would have delegated to an assistant. "I have news," she said, sitting down. I was offered the Chief Nursing Officer position at Metropolitan General, full administrative role, bigger salary, corner office. My heart sank slightly after all this progress. I turned it down. She continued smiling at my expression. "Turns out I prefer making a difference to making headlines." "Proud of you, sweetheart," Mom said, squeezing her hand. "Besides," Sarah added, "I hear the board director, there isn't nearly as good at keeping egotistical nurses in line." I laughed. "Speaking of the board, we're expanding the clinical education program. Seems a certain nurse educator has improved patient outcomes so significantly that other hospitals want to adopt the model. Let me guess. You bought them too." "Only 3 so far." Sarah shook her head, amused. "My little sister, the secret healthcare mogul, who would have thought the same people who thought Director Chen would become a dedicated floor nurse?" Mom suggested. "True," Sarah acknowledged, though I did keep one thing from my director days. She pulled out her old office nameplate, now modified with a new title. "Sarah Chen, Aaron. Remember why you started?" "I keep it in my locker," she explained. "Whenever I'm tired or frustrated, it reminds me of who I was and who I chose to become instead." As we sat there, sharing coffee and conversation, I realized that the best investments aren't always about money or power. Sometimes they're about believing in someone's better self, even when they've forgotten it exists. Sarah's phone buzzed, a LinkedIn notification about her old position being filled at Metropolitan General. She didn't even check it,